Hi, hello, welcome back to the class, everyone. Today, our lesson is about how to keep backups, right? So, we are learning on how to safeguard our data and information in the computer. And we learned many things like how to safeguard our computer devices, and then how to safeguard our data and information which are in the computer from the viruses or the malwares. And today we are going to learn on how to keep backups and why to keep backups. Last time I told you the data and information in our computer, sometimes it can be deleted, it can be lost, it can be or something harmful can be happen in my computer, so that all the data and information will be deleted, or I can't get it right. So there are some or there are various reasons where you may lose your data and information in your computer. So for that, here we can keep some backups of our data and information. So what are backups, or what is a backup? Keeping backups can be defined as a process of keeping copies of software components. So you have the original copy of the software components, or you have the original copy of your computer data and information, so it can be lost. So for that, what we do is we keep backups. Copies kept as backups can be used in case the original copy is misplaced or damaged. So, in case if your original copy is misplaced or your original copy is damaged, then it is helpful if you can keep a backup of these original copies. Several storage techniques can be applied to keep backups. So how to keep backups? Now you know what is backups and how to keep backups. How to keep backups? For an example, you can use a CD, a compact disc, to copy the data and information in your computer. Or else you can use a DVD to keep your data and information, a copy of the data and information in your computer. Or else you can use an external hard disk to keep your data and information safe. And also you can use different location in the same computer. For an example, you can take a copy from the original place and copy a take a copy, or copy something, a file or folder or whatever, in another place in your own computer or another drive. This is how you make backups. So this is a way to keep your data and information safely. Next one is access control. What is access control? Access control means providing software solution for access control. There are some software solution. We use some softwares to safeguard our data and information which are inside our computer, right? Access control mean sometimes without our knowledge, okay, without telling us, some people are entering to our computer and they take our data and information, right, without we know. So these are access issues, right? For that, we can do some solution using some softwares. For an example, as it says here, it means the method and services provided by several software to control access to computer and safeguard its resources. For an example, using strong and difficult to guess password. Using password. So password is a software. It means the password is provided by a software, isn't it? In your computer or in your smartphone, you use a password. Why you are using a password? To safeguard your data and information from the unauthorized access. Unauthorized access mean uh, unknown people's access. I don't know who accesses my computer. That is unauthorized access. So we can keep our data and information, the documents, whatever the thing, the videos, the audios, the pictures, the whatever the thing, safely from unauthorized access using the passwords. And when you use the password, you know how to use the passwords. When you use the password should be very strong, and also it shouldn't be guessed by others. It shouldn't be guessed by others. Next one is creation of suitable user accounts. Suitable user accounts mean, I have told you already that in your computer you can create user accounts. Okay, instead of the administration account, you can use a user account. Not only one user account, you can use several user accounts, right? If many people are using your computer. If you are only using your computer, then the user account is not needed. But if several people are using your computer, then it is better to open user accounts, a suitable user account. You can create them. Next one, encryption. What is an encryption? Okay, we'll see what is an encryption. By following the above mentioned methods, not only access to computer can be controlled, but also data and information can be protected from sudden loss. Right? So these are the protections which we can follow to safeguard our computer to safeguard our computer from the access control. Also, sorry, to safeguard our computer from the unauthorized access. Right? Also, you can, that means it can be used to safeguard your computer from the unauthorized access, as well as you can safeguard your data and information in the computer also. So what is an encryption? Encryption is another way to protect data. Encrypted data cannot be read and understood even if it falls into wrong hands. This method is adopted especially when sensitive data is to be communicated. Encryption means, now this you can understand, right? If you can read it, you know the letters here, right? In this book, I will show you something, right? This Sarah to one of my friend, but now we'll say like this, okay? Now I want to send this message. We'll say a message like Sarah, right? I want to send this message to Amal. Okay, I want to send this message to Amal. Now, when I am sending this message to Amal, okay, this message first, okay, I call Anne. I call Anne and tell her, I write this Sarah in a paper, and I fold it. I give it to Anne to be sent to Amal. Right? So in between, when this message is sent by Anne, the message is taken by Anne, and it is going to be be given to who? Amal, right? Now, Anne, if you open the paper, you can read whatever inside the paper, right? For an example, huh? Now, if I want me and Amal only to understand what is in the message, what I do is I encrypt these letters. Encryption means I create some symbols, okay, which I and Amal only understands. For an example, instead of writing Sarah, Sara, me and Amal, it is like a secret code. Okay, me and Amal, we make a secret code. I tell her, if I write like this, okay, if I write like this is called Sarah. I am telling it to Amal. Amal knows that, but Anne doesn't know that. So this Sarah is encrypted like this. This is encryption. Encryption means the original document, okay, the original one, if we see it, we can understand it. So before it receives to the receiver, when the sender sends a message and it before it receives to the receiver, if it goes with this original letters, in between, if someone hacks it, if someone got the message, they can read it, right? So it is not good because messages are secrets. For that, what is happening here, for an example, if someone unknown enters to my computer, he or she cannot read my information and data. Why? Because I encrypt them like this. This is encryption. I don't understand what is this. Good. So that is encryption, right? So encryption is actually is used uh, when we communicate the data and information, mostly when we communicate the sensitive data and information to others. Okay, right. Next one, use of physical locks for access. How to use the physical locks of for access. Right. So the computer system, data and information stored in the computers and software are protected by using devices and methods that are in the form of hardware in this method. For this, following methods are used. Now all these data and information are stored in the computer, isn't it? And these data are stored in the hardware component. For that, we should safeguard our hardware components also, right? If someone comes and takes your hardware components, all the data and information is inside your hardware components. So, as you safeguard your data and information which are inside the computer, like that, you should safeguard your hardware components also. So, how to safeguard our hardware components, the physical component? Keeping the computer at a secure place. Never ever keep your computer wherever you want inside the house or wherever, right? Keep it in a safe place, in a secured place. It is advisable to keep the computer that contains sensitive and valuable data, information at a secure place so that it will be protected from thieves and unlawful entry of people. Understood this one, everyone? If yes, put a yes, please. Didn't understand. You know there are thieves, right? Who steals the computers, the computer itself, not only the data inside the computer. They steal the computer. So for that, we should safeguard our computer hardware also. So the first one, what you should do, there is a method. There are methods. The first method is keep your computer at a safe place. Now understood? Mariam, now understood? Okay. Next one, next method is use of CCTV cameras and alarms. You know CCTVs and cameras and alarms. So tasks such as monitoring movements when necessary. Provision of automatic urgent messages are done by this system. So what is the use of CCTV cameras and alarms? You know why we are using the CCTV cameras, and also there are alarms with these CCTV cameras, right? So we use these CCTV cameras to monitor uh, whoever comes to the laboratory or whoever roams around the laboratory. We should know who came, who went from the lab. We should know that, right? For that, to monitor the movement when necessary, we can use these CCTV cameras. And the use of alarms are when somebody comes to a place where the CCTV cameras are fit, the alarms will send you some messages to your phone. For an example, you are not in the office, right? You are not in the laboratory, but you are at your home. So if some movement happened there, then there is an alarm which tells you that there is something or someone roaming around the laboratory. It monitors. Next one, use biometric passwords. What are biometric passwords? You know what are passwords, right? So biometric passwords are at present, fingerprints and voice recognition methods are widely used to access computer systems and to open doors of the computer laboratory. So when you are using these computer systems, or when you are using the, yes, when you are using the computer system and the computer laboratory, mostly now in this modern era or in this modern time, in at present, they use the fingerprint or the voice recognition method. You know the fingerprint and the voice recognition method. Fingerprint is you swipe your finger on the machine and then the door will be open. You swipe your finger on the phone, then your phone will be unlocked. You swipe your finger on the laptop, then your laptop will be unlocked. So we use, these are biometric passwords. We know, we learned about the passwords, which are the words. We use words as passwords, right? But here these are biometric passwords. You use your fingerprint, you use your voice. When you talk, the phone will be unlocked. When you talk, it recognize your voice and it will be unlocked. Also there are face recognitions also. You don't know. For an example, there is a for an example, there are some laboratories. Okay, if you want to see, give me a minute, I will show you. Okay, the people who are using iPhones, okay, they have this voice recognition biometric password, and also they have the face recognition password. Fingerprint is not there. I will show you. Wait. For an example, I will tell you like this. Okay, there are some doors, right? There are some doors. They have a small machine. Okay, these doors are locked, not with the lock. There is no lock, no key. The machine is there. If you want to unlock the door, if you want to open the door, you should swipe your fingerprint. Then only the door will be opened. That is biometric password. The phone, if you want to unlock the phone, you can look at your phone. It recognizes your face and unlocks your phone. That is biometric password. You can speak. Okay. If you speak, it recognizes your sound and the phone will be unlocked. That is biometric password. Now understood? Now look, this is a biometric fingerprint door lock. Okay. This is a door lock. Biometric fingerprint door lock. So now when you want to open a door, you should open it like this. I will
digital biometric fingerprint door lock, and this is a 3-in-1, so it will open the door by reading your fingerprint or by entering a code or by these spare set of keys, just in case for some reason you just can't get in. This is the new
okay. So guys, so this lock, you can use a password. See, there are numbers, right? So you can enter numbers as password and unlock this door lock, or else you can swipe your finger and unlock this door, or else also there is keys. If you want, you can use the key and unlock the door. Now understood biometric? Biometric mean this one. You swipe your finger and the door lock will be open. Now got?
fingerprint door lock, and this is a 3-in-1, so it will open the door by reading your fingerprint or by entering a code or by these spare set of keys.
So this is the biometric fingerprint door lock, right? Likewise, this is a door lock. Okay, there are some voice recognitions also. Voice recognition, or what do you call this, face recognition, right? So these are biometric passwords. Unlike a conventional password, using biometric passwords is somewhat a modern method. Permission to access the system is granted only after recognizing unauthorized sorry, only after recognizing authorized person's identity through fingerprints, voice, face, or iris, right? So here you can give fingerprints or voices or face recognitions like that. They authorize your, they recognize you, and they open the doors, right? I will tell you the summary from the beginning of this chapter. Everybody, please hear me. So, in this chapter, we learnt about the security of the computer system, and the security of the computer system, or how to protect the computer system. It is divided into two: the hardware security and the software security. When coming to the hardware security, you know what are the hardware components of the computer system. You know the hardware components of the computer system, so we should secure them. How to secure them? Before knowing how to secure them, everybody should know what are the possible hardware security issues are coming, or what are the hardware security issues. So the hardware security issues, some of the issues are here. For an example, sudden flow of high voltage current, sudden power failure, overheat inside the system unit, dust gathering on computer hardware accessories or devices, and insects, is issues related to theft. These are hardware uh, security issues. Then how to protect our computer from these hardware security issues? So the step one, we learned how to check, or how to safeguard our computer from the electricity issues. We can use UPS, we can use fuses, we can use surge protections. Also, to secure your hardware components of the computer from the heatness, you can use ACs, as well as you can use the cooling fans on the devices which get heated highly. Theft mean, you don't know, thief, കളവെടുക്കற, theft, കളവ്. Okay. Then how to safeguard the computer, physical computer components, or the computer laboratory from the what do you call this, dust, water, and all these things. We can, uh, when we enter the computer laboratory, we should remove our shoes outside and go in. And also, when we are going inside the lab, it is not good to take food or drink inside the laboratory. And also, we should prevent insects and rats from entering the laboratory. Normally, when somebody is inside the computer laboratory, it is the best way of using the ACs. It is better to use ACs. Also, you should keep your computer laboratory very clean, and you should keep the lab without moisture, that is wetness, right? And then how to protect the computer laboratory from the theft? We can use locks, proper locks to the windows and the doors in the computer laboratory. Also, you can protect the system unit by locking it. I told you how to lock the system unit, and I showed it to you also. CCTV cameras also can be used to protect your computer laboratory from the theft. Next one, we learned about how to protect the computer software components in the computer. You know what are the software components? Software components are the computer programs which are used by us to do our tasks easily, and they cannot be seen or touched. They cannot be touched, okay? They are not physical. So the issues, or the possible issues which can be affected to the softwares are a natural disaster, terrorism, attacks, and etc. Unauthorized access, unexpected deletion of files or overwriting, threat of malware, you know what are malware, complications in the operating system, and sudden power failure. So how to protect our computer from these issues? So controlling the unauthorized access, yeah, you can provide the software solution like logical security, or else you can use locks and doors bolt as physical security. Protecting against malware, you can use antivirus softwares, and also to protect against power failure, natural disaster, complication in the operating system, deletion of files or overwrite, and etc. You can keep backups. Then we learned how to protect our computers against the malware. First of all, I told you what is a malware. A malware is a harmful software which are made by the human being, right? So what they can or what are the damages they can cause inside our computer is it can harm our computer softwares which are installed in the computer. It can damage our data information installed in the computer. It can damage the computer network. Also it can damage the computer hardware devices as well. Yes, malware damages the computer. uh, what do you call, the malware damages the computer softwares. Understood? Right. Then we learned some of the types of the computer malwares. That those are computer viruses, computer worms, Trojan horse, and spyware. So computer viruses are you know how they are spreading in our computer. Computer viruses normally spread in our computer by the computer storage devices, right? When you use computer storage devices like pen drive for an example, when you connect it to your computer, if there are any viruses in these devices or in these storage devices, it can be entered to your computer. So it spreads from the computer storage devices. And computer worms, it comes to our computers through the internet, okay, or through the networks. Trojan horse, they are seemed like good, what do you call these softwares, but when you open them, they can cause harmful things. They can damage your computer data and information. Spyware, somebody sends these spywares to your computer to get your secret details, to take your data and information inside your computer without you know. So it is also a harmful malware. Then we learned on what are the damages caused by the malware software, malicious software. So it can delete, it can hide, it can modify the data and information in our computer. It creates new files and folders that are belonging to the users. It can delete or malfunction or alternate the software's behavior, also decrease the efficiency of the computer, shut downs the computer, restarts the computer, and etc. We learned many things also. Then we learned how to protect our computer against the malware. So I taught you that we should install antivirus softwares and update them regularly. Open an external storage device only after scanning it. Activate firewall and make right settings. Also use the internet. Always access secure websites when you are using the internet. Do not open blacklisted websites, okay, shows by the antivirus software. Also, there are some pop-ups. Suddenly it appears in your screen. Don't open them. Never ever go and open emails which you don't know from whom it is sent. Or we call them as suspicious emails. Don't open them. Okay? Or the attach. Although also the links. I told you there are some links coming to you through WhatsApp, through IMO, whatever. whatever the platforms, there are some links coming to you, like you have won an iPhone, you have won a car. These are not true information, right? So be careful when you are opening these links and all these things. And we learned many more things on how to protect our computer from the malicious software. Then we learned about the backups. Backups mean taking a copy of the original copy. In case if we misplace or damage, or the copies are damaged, we can use these backups. So backups can be made by on the compact disc, CDs, DVDs, external discs, and in different location in your computer. And then we learned about the access control, how to protect our computer from unauthorized access, right? So we can protect them using strong, difficult to guess passwords, and you can create suitable user accounts. Also, you can encrypt your sensitive data and information. Then we learned about use of physical locks for access control. So when you use physical locks for access control, you should follow these methods. For an example, keeping the computer at a secure place, use of CCTV cameras and alarms, use biometric passwords. That's it. Hope everybody understood the lesson. Until we will meet again at the next class, thank you for joining the class, everyone, and have a nice day.